Right now, Sean Diddy Combs is in a New York City courtroom for sentencing on 2 prostitution-related charges. Prosecutors are asking for 11 years and 3 months behind bars. Combs' lawyers no more than 14 months, with credit for time served since his September 2024 arrest. In a new letter to the judge, Combs pled for leniency, writing, quote, "I lost my way. I got lost in my journey, lost in the drugs and the excess. My downfall was rooted in my selfishness, and I am so sorry for the hurt that I caused." NBC's Rahima Ellis is outside the downtown Manhattan courtroom for us. And here with me, Christy Greenberg, former SDNY Criminal Division Deputy Chief and a former federal prosecutor who was inside the courtroom for the entirety of Combs' trial. So, Rahima, tell us what's happened so far.
Well, what's happening right now is that the defense attorneys are arguing their case that Sean Combs should be given only 14 months, essentially time served, saying in part that he was a model prisoner, and he has been a model prisoner for these 13 months that he has been behind bars. And they said that when he was out on the streets, he was a model citizen, providing assistance and inspiration for others. What the prosecution presented in their argument was a very different picture. And even before that, the judge basically overruled all of the defense arguments. They wanted to say that Cassie Ventura was not a victim, that the other woman named Jane was not a victim, and that there were no victims in this case at all. And also, the judge went on to say something to the effect that jurors do not get to acquit conduct. They acquit of charges. They found him not guilty of the most serious charges, we pointed out, which could have carried life in prison. But the judge may be foreshadowing something here about what the sentence may be. The judge went on to say something to the effect of how Sean Diddy Combs cannot claim that he was not responsible for any of the things that happened and now claim remorse for anything that he was accused of doing. It's interesting also, Chris, to note that in the prosecution, when they presented their arguments, one of the first things they said is that Sean Combs is scheduled to have speaking engagements as early as Monday, just after this weekend, starting in Miami, and they called it the height of hubris, and that how remorseful can he be? He hasn't even heard what the judge's sentence is. We should tell you that when the defense now in its presentation of his arguments is trying to explain what those speaking engagements are, they're saying on Monday he's scheduled to speak at a Miami North Work Release Center. And the following Tuesday it would be at a regional library in Miami. And he has speaking engagements all through the month and down into October 29th. Their point is that he's going to be speaking and offering inspiration and guidance, and also his remorse about what his life may have been presented as. But he wants to offer some encouragement to people going forward as early as next Monday. Chris?
Rahima Ellis, thank you for that. Well, let me just go to the words that were said in court, if I can, Christy. A model prisoner and citizen, according to his team. He has a lot of good he still wants to do in the world. He's got speaking engagements. In a letter, Combs asked the judge for, quote, another chance to be a better father, another chance to be a better son, another chance to be a better leader in my community, and another chance to live a better life. What do you hear in that as somebody who sat through the trial? And what do you think the judge heard?
I mean, that's delusional. That has nothing to do with anything that happened at the trial. You cannot say that you are rehabilitated when you then also say you are a model citizen. And you have to either accept responsibility and say, I did these things and I'm guilty of them and I accept responsibility and I'm rehabilitated now, or you say I didn't do anything and therefore there's nothing to rehabilitate. He's trying to have it both ways, and it doesn't work. These women were victims. You did hear evidence from not just the 2 women, but his employees, his assistants, the people who worked with him, about his violence. And I mean, it was gruesome to hear the details each day of person after person after person who not just witnessed what he did to the women, but they were victims of his violence themselves. And that is all fair game. What the judge said today is, doesn't matter that the jury acquitted Combs of certain counts. That doesn't matter. I heard everything at trial, and I can consider everything in determining what is a fair sentence here. The judge said the guidelines range that he determined here is 70 to 87 months. He also said the higher guidelines range that the prosecutors were asking for, he didn't agree with, and he said that's not going to affect my sentence, meaning he's not getting 11 years. He's not getting what the prosecutors are asking for. But in order to go below the guidelines range, there has to be a reason. You have to really show that you've done something worth it. And being a model prisoner, well, we expect prisoners to be model prisoners. We expect them to follow the rules. That is not extraordinary to get you below the guidelines range. So right now, I'd say we're looking at somewhere within 70 to 87 months. Most judges do come out somewhere within the guidelines range. And I've yet to hear anything from Combs that would, justify why he should get a departure.
I found it interesting, and I'm fascinated to hear your take on it. His PR team released an 11-minute kind of documentary-style video last night. They were hoping to show in court today. Here's just, I think, a little clip of that.
What you've given to the world, I don't think you know, man.
You gotta give her a bottle then.
Know that you mean something to people.
Working for Revolt TV and working for Diddy was absolutely life-changing. It was the best job I've ever had. I learned excellence through him.
I don't see enough of things truly changing. And I don't understand how we are the richest, most powerful country in the world, and it seems like we can't solve the problems within our own community.
Today, now I'm a full-time dad, and I'm gonna be there for you through everything, all of y'all.
I love you.
I love you so much.
I love you so much.
Love you so much.
Hi, Daddy.
So a lot about him interacting with his kids, a lot about him showing up in places where maybe he's donated money to help kids. How does that play into this? I watched it. There was a lot of nice music. There was a lot of, it was a well-produced video. Does it have any legal bearing?
Well, there are a lot of criminal defense. I was a prosecutor for over a decade, and many defendants that I had prosecuted had families who loved them. And you have people, they are not just defined by the crimes they commit. They are whole people who presumably are not all bad. They've done some bad things, but they've also done good things too. And I don't doubt that Mr. Combs' family loves him and that he's a good father. But that's...
Or that he may have given people opportunities by giving them jobs.
Right, that people did enjoy working for him. But you have to look at what the evidence was at trial, what he is accused of and what he has said about that. He has said that the violence was rare. That is not what was shown at the trial. Multiple witnesses talked about his unpredictable violence. He said that it was mutual with some of these women. We didn't see any photos of these women giving him bruises and injuries. We saw their injuries, which were very real and very disturbing. And again, when you continue to minimize, you won't even call them victims. You won't even say that, you won't even give them that term that to really show that you understand the gravity of what you did. I don't see how, if you can't accept that you are deserving of any kind of a lower sentence. Again, him walking out the door today, I would be stunned. It would be a complete miscarriage of justice if that happened, and I don't see it happening.
But just to be clear, we should get a sentence today?
Yes.
Okay. Christy Greenberg, thank you, and I know you'll be standing by for that.